Welcome back, dudes and dudettes. This is, of course, one and only crypto enthusiast, Light Tiger here, and today we're gonna be talking about an altcoin called Decreed, DCR, which is currently sitting at number 55 on the market cap. And in this video, we're gonna be exploring 5 bullish signals for Decreed, which could mean a lot of great things for the project in the near future. So let's get started. So one of the very first bullish sentiments for Decreed is the involvement of ARK Invest, which is an active equity ETF that has a net assets valuation at almost at 5 billion and the weighted average market cap at 33 billion. And this is a company that has basically invested in other large corporations and companies such as Tesla, Square Inc., Roku, LendingTree, Illumina, Proto Labs, and many others, and they have their biggest backs actually on Tesla as of right now, and their CEO, Cathie Wood, has talked about Decreed in the past and how it could be solving the Bitcoin structural problem through the Decreed governance. And she has talked about Decreed in a couple of seminars in the past, and it seems to be one of those coins that basically this company could be acquiring in the future. Also, Elon Musk has endorsed ARK Invest as a company and said they're pretty legitimate, and maybe that has something to do with the fact that their top 10 holdings are highest on Tesla Incorporated. But let's move into the next segment. The next thing I want to talk about is the possibility of a Coinbase listing. So a couple of months ago in May, the head of listings at Coinbase, Zach Siegel, was actually in a podcast where he was asked which cryptocurrencies you should invest in. And he said between the lines of that he didn't want to give a cop-out answer like Ethereum or Bitcoin, and he eventually just said like Decreed is the project that I'm really excited about. And it seems to me that Zach is still a fan of Decreed and is actively looking into the possibility of adding Decreed into the platform. Back in August in 2019, they also released a list of coins that they were exploring to support in the Coinbase platform, and among these 8 coins, Decreed was one of them. And it has to be obviously said that they do release these lists now and then, and the roster tends to change, obviously, on the trends and everything else, and sometimes they don't end up adding anything into their platform. But what we do know is that there seems to be a bit of a process. So first it goes into, I believe it's called Coinbase Armory, then it will go into Coinbase Pro, and then it will go into the normal Coinbase. So there's a bit of a process when it comes to adding things. And I think this has a lot to do with Decreed actually meeting the expectations that it has laid out for its community and things that they are working on, which we are going to be talking about in a second, such as the DEX that they are building right now. And if all of those things are going to be launched very soon, that is going to be giving Coinbase a lot more incentives and more sense for them to list Decreed on their platform. Next up, we have to talk about the Decreed's holy grail project, and that is obviously the Decreed DEX, which seems to be coming along nicely, and we might see an alpha version out of it by the end of the year, maybe start of 2021. And what exactly makes Decreed DEX different from the rest of the competition? So first of all, everything works through atomic swap technology in this exchange, so there's no Bitcoin-backed tokens on the Decreed blockchain or anything like that. Everything happens within atomic swaps. Secondly, there is no fees, so you don't have to pay a fee in Decreed or some random token when you're exchanging Decreed to Bitcoin or Decreed into Monero. There are no fees. There are no cuts that go into the developers or anything like that. It is 100% free service outside from obviously the actual transaction fees that happen on chain. And also, it will be open source. So you can do your own graphical interface around it, have your own portal for it, own website, etc. You can also have the possibility of running your own server with it and have the true decentralized experience. The only fee that you have to pay is a one-time registration fee, which is paid on chain with Decreed, and this kind of like adds up, to my understanding, a bit of a layer of security to it. That's why it exists. And after that, you don't even need Decreed in order to basically use this DEX, and it is one of those cutting-edge type of a projects right now, because even though you have some other similar types of services, they're still going to be having some type of a fee attached to them. With Decreed DEX, we're going to be having the cheapest possible way to basically trade these coins between each other. Another feature that is getting added into Decreed very soon is called CoinShuffle++, which is basically the improved version of CoinJoin. That is what Bitcoin is basically using to shuffle the transactions around. CoinShuffle is a lot more nuanced and decentralized way to create privacy on the chain. And this basically allows people to do mixed ticket buyings, for example, and staking, and increasing the level of privacy within the Decreed chain, and not having to worry about all the transactions being able to be traced back to you. So there are people around there who would probably prefer having certain of their transactions being privatized. CoinShuffle++ allows Decreed users basically access that technology. And lastly, I want to talk about Decreed's biggest weapon, and that is the Decreed Treasury. And the way it works in Decreed is that every time a block is mined, portion of the reward will go to the miners, portion to the stakers, and 10% will go to the Treasury. And the Treasury is basically operated by the community. The people who have Decreed basically get to vote on these proposals where the treasury funds are going to be used. So, for example, some people want to allocate portion of the treasury into marketing on a certain region. Some want to allocate money on developing the DEX, or maybe perhaps a new mobile wallet, or certain types of new technologies or smart contracts. There are many ways you can use the actual treasury, and there will always be a proposal and people will vote on it. If it gets over 60% of the votes, basically it will get the green light, and then the treasury basically will send the money to the address and they start funding that actual project. And right now in the treasury there's over $10 million worth of Decreed right now, and that makes it second largest DAO in the whole crypto space. That is really, really big, and that allows you to do a lot of stuff. If you're going to be allocating it wisely and in a good way, you have to spend it. You don't want to overly spend your funds, obviously, from the treasury. And when you really look at the charts, it has been steadily growing, so the community hasn't really overly spent the treasury funds into nonsense or like big investments. So it has been gaining quite a lot and keeping it very steady space since like 2020. It has been relatively staying the same. And that is pretty much my rundown of these top 5 bullish sentiments for Decreed. If you're interested more in the coin, I'm going to leave their YouTube channel. There's a lot more information there about breaking down all of these systems in a more detailed fashion. And I also have exchanges listed down below where you can buy them. Thanks for the Decreed communities for sponsoring this video. You can expect more Decreed videos on the channel explaining a bit more about how to stake and other types of interesting features revolving around Decreed. But thanks for watching, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.